Hello.
Welcome to the Bug Girls Podcast. We're here with Chanty Marostica.
Hello.
On the heels of their huge win.
Big
win for the Sirius XM's top comic. Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you, you two. Thank you so much.
How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling, it still really hasn't sunk in, I don't think. But it feels really good. It feels like, I don't know. It feels really good.
It's
I don't
amazing.
know.
It's really, really amazing.
Yeah, I've had some, really good conversations with friends. And I was telling you that I saw my friend of, 17 years from high school. And she, started to tear up that she was just, you're sharing a lot of things and you've worked so hard. But it's also, it's just a big deal for trans visibility, but I was also already an established comic, so it's I earned it, but then it's also a big deal for the community, so it's just a lot of feelings at once. I don't really know how to process. It'll be a week tomorrow, so I feel like maybe tomorrow it'll fully sink in, but...
Oh, yeah, that's a lot. That's huge.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. The prize was so much bigger this year, and it's just when they were and from Winnipeg zone, I was like, gross, who's from Winnipeg? And they were like, that's you. And I was like,
oh my god.
Yeah, because Benny, Ben and I have known each other forever. I started in Montreal with him a long time ago, and he was elated to say my name, but he was like, Winnipeg zone, and I was like, let's not pass that around.
Wow.
I'm from Toronto.
How much was the prize this year?
It was $25,000, spot at JFL 42. Just JFL Northwest, and JFL Sydney was the addition.
Oh my god!
My own television taping.
Oh my god, that's so incredible!
But then the runners up also got $2,500, and then got everything but JFL Sydney. So they got their prizes were also bumped up from last year, where they didn't have the money and not as many prizes. I think not as many appearances at Just for Laughs. So
wow, that's crazy.
They got
incredible.
What they earned too.
That's awesome.
That's so great.
Damn.
Yeah. No, Sirius XM is just doing you were in it last year. You know, Sirius XM is just doing so much work to actually create a star system and make what we're doing here worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like people comics in America just have it so good. There's just so much more opportunity, and we do the same amount of work, and we do more work, and we're doing more work for visibility for marginalized communities, and then we don't get paid, and we don't have the visibility or the star system in any way. So it's just they're just doing huge things, $25,000. Where did you get that? Oh my god.
Yeah.
So do you feel like things are changing for the better for comedians in Canada?
I think so. I think Cask is trying, and then they're doing what they can just.
So Cask is the Canadian Association for Stand-Up Comedy,
and they're trying to get basically just protect us, I guess, with where if you work for Yucks or Absolute, they to get a minimum standard of living.
Yeah,
because it is a job, and it's our it's our job, but we all have to have jobs or have some sort of assistance so that we can do this. But it is a full-time job on its own, but it doesn't pay that way.
Yeah, that's insane that there are so many comedians signed with both of those clubs and any of the major clubs in the city specifically, and they still need to have other jobs on top of that job. And it's you would never ask a doctor to also have a side hustle. You know what I mean?
It's strange. I was talking about it with my date last night. And she's somebody that's in the queer community, and just seeing how much actors make, and how comics are treated. It's just even we don't look at it the same way. When you go to a concert, you're it's how you watch it, and you're I want to pay this much because it's this, or the theater, or opera. And then you go to comedy, and you're entertain me, and it's free, and fuck you. You know? And it's just we treat comics like garbage. But comedy is the biggest thing that when if anything you see on Netflix, it's all comedy specials. Anything that we do to entertain ourselves is comedy, is laughing.
Yeah.
But it's the only job that isn't a job.
Do you think that's because we kind of treat ourselves like shit, and other things like music, they kind of take it themselves more seriously?
I think it's newer too, but it's also that if you especially marginalized people, if we're fuck you, pay me, somebody will come in and be I don't care, I just want to do it. There's always someone that will replace you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With I don't think that's the same for any other job in the industries that we work in. If you another trans person isn't going to be oh, that trans, but if you're for representation or something, people will always undercut you, and there's always someone that will. It's our job is basically it's 10,000 people started in the office today. I don't know who any of them are, but their dicks are all out, and they're it's there's so many of them, so many of us, and it's So it's kind of like hard to reel it in, I guess.
Yeah.
And they know that that they'll always find somebody. They don't have to raise wages, or they don't have to pay comics properly, because they will always work for it.
Yeah.
We are hungry and we want it.
That's really interesting, the like concept of undercutting. That's because if you also the people who are like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do it for free. I mean, like you said, we're all hungry, but then on the flip side of it, it's also like, who has the option to be like, yeah, I'll do it for free. I'll not work a night shift.
Yeah.
And I'll do this instead.
There are a lot of people that are privileged in comedy, though.
Yeah.
That where you can, like, if you have to put your kid to bed and you have to feed your kid, or you, like, live outside of town, there's things, like, that you have to, there's going to be somebody that is like, oh, I live with my parents, so I don't have to worry about it, you know?
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, we work with a lot of, like, cis het people that are privileged. Like, there's always going to be somebody that will do it for free, or will undercut you. They'll find somebody else.
Well, someone put it in a really interesting way for me that I've been thinking about a lot, which is who has the chances to fail? Like, how many chances do you have to fail? You know? And, like, if someone's more successful, maybe they just had more chances to fail than you did.
Explain it better. Sorry. I think I'm,
if you have, like, the way that I interpreted it was that, like, okay, if you have, if you're like,
explain it better. I meant, like, I'm just not understanding. Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude.
No. Like, okay, the way that I understood it was that, like, say you saved up a certain amount of money, so you're like, okay, I'm gonna do comedy full time and really, like, commit myself to it for, like, 6 months, and that's the amount of time I have. And then those 6 months is up, and, like, obviously that isn't enough time in comedy. Like, people are at it for a decade, if not more, before you get anything. And then that 6 months is up, and you're like, okay, well, now I have to take care of my mom, and I have to do this and that. Whereas, like, if somebody has that support network and that support system, they theoretically have an unlimited amount of chances to fail.
I understand. That's what I thought you meant, but I just needed clarification. Yeah, that's perfect. And I think that's why it's also harder for marginalized community, like females and stuff like that. It's like it's not as easy. And it's like what am I trying to say here? Like a trans person or a queer person, or a person of color, like, it would be like, if they quit their job, like, it's probably going to be harder for them to get work. So they have to be looking the whole time. And then it's harder to book work as a comic because the people got no respect. So it's just like, yes, what you said. Sorry, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You'll notice that I'll start talking and they'll be like, were you talking? That's called drugs. Don't do them.
Yeah. It's very scary.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
I have brilliant parents, so yeah, I had chances to fail. I had them, like, if I couldn't pay rent, they would help me out.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of people that don't have those chances. That's a really good way to put it. It's I guess but comedy is getting better. Like, I think, like, with what they're trying to do with with Cask, and, like, with SiriusXM, just trying to bring any light to Canadian comics to show that, like, maybe that we don't have to move to.
That would be amazing, because we have like people live here.
People love
that live
comedy,
here.
but people love comedy. Like, if I moved to the States tomorrow, people would love me. Do you know what I mean? But, like, you're never appreciated in your hometown. It shouldn't be you're never appreciated in your home
country.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Most of the talent that people really look up to in the States are born in Canada, but we just can't see that. There's something that we just, like, hate about ourselves in Canada.
Yeah.
That we just can't even, like, it's like not until Jim Carrey's somewhere else that we can, like, be like, oh, Alex Trebek is Canadian? Oh, cool. And then you're proud of them? Like, they probably worked so hard here and then had to scramble for a visa to be, you know, and, like, live, below their means and just be really poor for a long time so that you would notice them. But they're here, and, like, you can check them out here. But I don't know.
It's so weird.
It's crazy. I think that like, judgment of Canadian, I know we have, like, our own format that we normally do on this show, but, like, I'm just so interested in what we're talking about right now.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Hey, no.
No, you go ahead. I don't.
Actually, just turn our mics off.
It's done. time.
But I've even met people in the industry, like in talking to like different networks, trying to pitch shows and stuff like that. Some people even in the industry have been like, ugh, yeah, when I like think of like Canadian content, I'm like, ugh, Canadian content. I'm like, you're what?
You are making it.
You are making Canadian content. Why would you?
Canadian content is very. It doesn't reflect what Canada looks like.
No.
Because it's very race. It's very like white.
Yeah.
Like corner gas isn't, I don't think that's not what represents my friend group, what I do, but there's a lot of pockets in Canada that like that. But there's also like us in the major cities that are watching the good content that we need. Like we want to see more, but it's just like our voices don't matter. But it's like the CBC's kind of scared to do anything until somebody else does it first. But it's like you're the CB, you should do you do it first.
No, you.
Yeah.
Or like I'm pitching this new show. It's called Anne of Green Gables, but like I have a mustache on, and I'm like, but I'm Anne of Green Gables. Like I'm me, but like, ugh. Like that's the only way I feel like that we can get work is by doing the same old tropes of being like I like of like Katie Lang and like
That's
people
really
like just think of the opening of the Olympics. It's always like literal beavers beamed and like maple leaves. Like we need there's more to it than that. Like that's so problematic and weird that we just don't even recognize all the great things that we have. We're like maple syrup.
Yeah.
You know?
What?
Or if you watch like this hour has 22 minutes and it's like or anything like that, like it just doesn't. I'm like, where are they getting this from? Like everybody thinks that we're just like that. We just like are we made of donuts? I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think we might be.
Yeah.
I think we might be.
That's so true, and it's very frustrating because you're right. Like what is like deemed as Canadian content is just the stuff that was greenlit. That's not before, but that's not.
But it's like, why don't we? Canadian content can just reflect like what we are and what we're doing, like
Yeah.
what we've ignored in the past, and then because you do have to have a certain amount of Canadian content to be because everything that we do is like government funded, right? But like if they were just like, oh right, all those things that we like have been not talking about and tried to destroy.
No, but I'm saying that that's all Canadian content as well.
Yeah,
that's
so
part
like
of
why,
us.
like my experience as a trans person or somebody as experience as an Indigenous person and like how they live on the reserve or anything like any of your experience or your experience as a woman in Canada, that's Canadian content because it's happening in Canada. Yeah. It's not like you know, I'm trying to think of any Canadian show that I could even like think of an example, but like it's just like just the sipping the Tim Hortons and being like 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 but if we like and then people move because they get frustrated, but there's got to be somebody somewhere that is tired of that wants to make changes. I don't know.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I always like this like so when I first started in comedy, I was like, I always believed that there's money somewhere. You know what I mean? Like you walk down the street, well, like a fancy street. So you're walking down a fancy street.
Yeah.
And you see like, you look through people's windows because you're peering through them, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, look at that vase.
Yeah.
And it's
you
like,
break in.
you break in and
Yeah.
you take that vase. And then you try and sell it. And it's like, worth $5,000. And you're like, where do they get the money for this $5,000 vase? And you're like, there's $5,000. And then what's in my head is like, there's $5,000 out there somewhere.
There is money, but like,
There's
if you
money.
get in a writer's room, like I've been paid more in a writer's room in a day than like I have in a month for comedy, and I'm like, why don't I don't see people that look like you or like people that, you know, like that it's always the same group of like white men that are doing that. So it's like there are jobs, and like acting pays a lot too, but it's like you have to get like, if you're a comedian, you're doing all this side hustle, there's like no time for it.
Yeah.
No, but no time for all the things that you need to do to make money to still also be in your industry. Like you have to like work as like working as a server. It's not like you're gonna be like, well, I'll just book a commercial. You know,
it feels very, very hard to do.
Yeah.
How can you make money and then also get all the stuff you're supposed to do and do everything you want to do? How?
It feels like an impossible task, and it's like you too, like just like making you. If it like it won't like I realized very young in comedy that nothing is given to me. Like growing up in Winnipeg, like it's very problematic. There's a lot of like, you know, I don't have to say it, like I don't have to shit on my hometown, but if I don't make it for myself, I won't get it. So that's like, and that's what you're doing. Like you're like, where's the money? You make the money. You just like create this podcast and whatever will come from it and sponsors and stuff. Like we just have to create our own Canadian content. Unless
100%. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was probably gonna just be like, what was I talking
I remember I was talking to this other comic, straight white dude, and he was asking me for advice on like producing and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, I want to, like, these are my goals. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to start. And I was like, cool, that's great. And at one point he was like, yeah, like lately nobody wants, they're like, oh, we're not looking for straight white male comics. So he's like, so now I got to make my own work. And I'm like, that's amazing. You know what it's like to be us. You know what it feels like to be us for once. That's amazing. Yeah. And I told him, I was like, you're going to get so much stronger. Do you know how, like, not everybody knows this. And I feel like often we like downplay how hard we work or like how hard it is because you want it to seem a bit effortless, right?
Yeah,
you want
it
to,
you need
yeah, you're right. You need
up on the spot
it
and then you're so fun and nothing bothers you. Yeah.
And nothing bothers you and you already have all the money and you don't need any more money. But like, I was like, you don't understand, like, you're going to start to, but how much stronger we are in the minority group because of who we are. Like,
because we have community and we have to rely on each other and we have to work together.
Yeah.
Like in my group of just like my gabies, like we just like, if even they even saw for like the way that like the Toronto stand-up community, it's a group that's very problematic on Facebook. The way like, oh, what was I going to say? I have this show, there's a million different shows. What we all post our shows in the group and then like and then you say that you're going to it and then you like invite friends or you share it and we all share each other's events because all it's going to do is create more work for us. We're not competing with each other, but if like, I guess if anybody else could see that like women stick together and that marginalized groups stick together and we like, if we just like pump each other up, we're just creating more work for each other, instead of competing.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge like stereotype as well, is that we're constantly like, that we're competing
at odds.
At
and
odds.
It was like that. Like I've been doing comedy for like almost 14 years now, and it was like that. It was like if another woman got something, like when I identified as female, there's only like two people. There was like me and Aisha Alpha in Winnipeg, and it was like, oh, you got that because there would only be one woman on a lineup.
Yeah,
you know, and like there would only, I was the queer, and she was a woman, and she's a woman. Was a woman of color. She still is. But it would be like that wouldn't matter. It was like that. Like they had to have one woman or none. You know, and like it was like we would be like, I'd want to be proud of her because she was one of my closest friends, but it was like it was so much resentment.
So weird how they build that into you.
And and it's like, and you want to be supportive of each other, but then you're in the boys club too, and it's like you like, tell me about her, like she sucks, right? And then and then I moved here and I was like, oh, you can be in comedy and you can be an ally and you can be a friend to like it doesn't, it's almost like it plays you.
Yeah, it does.
That's a really good point.
Because they tell you there's only one spot, but that's not true.
It's not true. Because we'll create our own show, and there'll be 10 spots on every single one of the shows that we create for ourselves.
Well, that's also something incredible. Like you said, I am part of the Queer and Present Danger community, and that's something huge that I've noticed that you've done for the Toronto stand-up community and comedy community is I've seen so many more queer identifying comics on the scene since you started that, and I think that's so huge, and I'm so thankful to you for that. That's incredible.
Thank you. I just like my experience of coming up, it was like it was like my voice wasn't important. I shouldn't talk about the things that are my story. Yeah. Because comedy is for men, and like this is what you should look like. And then I was like, I grind against that very hard now, obviously, but that's just how it was presented to me, and I never wanted any queer comics starting out to have the experience I did because it was very jarring and it was terrible. And now it's just like they come and they're like, I don't want to sound like a heterophobe, and I'm like, you can just say that. You're just saying that, like you're just so out. And it's like it worked. Like I didn't think it would ever work or it would happen, but then every group of up and comers, there's like 10 of them. 2 of them will start a show, and then we have more work. We get to book spot, even if it's like $20 on a weekday, whatever. It's like and then like, there was one point where there was like 4 or 5 of them had shows on the third Thursday of the month. They're like, we'll change it on the Thursday. I was like, keep it, because they're all full and they're all selling out because our community needs this. And we've been told forever that we don't, and we don't deserve it, but we do, and we need more of it because our community matters. Everybody's community matters, and if it's not represented, it's not like it. Representation matters so much, and people can tell us and grind against that so hard and be mad whenever like progress is just change that is right, that feels right, and like this change is so scary. Progress is just, now I'm rambling.
No, yeah.
But yeah, like the queer, I just didn't realize like they took it. Like I started something, but they're supporting each other, and they'll be like, put today's the day where we all post our shows, and then we all click going, and then we just like, because like Anna Simone is like, who runs Shade, is brilliant, and she understands like the algorithm, and she's like built an empire and everything, but like she's like, we'll tell people, and like we'll both like, you know, when you produce too, and like just like give like the little, all help each other out, because it's like, I guess when I started it was like, never share those details, they're yours, and people blood, sweat, and tears to get that, and I'm like, that's not how it is, because if we share these details, we have more work for each other. There's it's everything that we're taught when we start comedy from, I guess, like from the who run comedy, like cis het men, it's wrong. You know.
No, yeah, and that's also something incredible that I also noticed from the community that's been growing, is that a lot of the members are getting in the habit, and just back to the point of like undercutting each other, but like a lot of the members are getting in the habit of paying their acts and expecting pay, which is incredible. Like whenever I've been booked on a QAPD show, or like an offshoot of the show, like one of the other members who like started their own show, they're always like, oh, and we'll for sure pay you. We will for sure pay you. And like,
even if they're doing a pay what you can bucket, they have
there's
they have their loot bags, like all of them, because like I give loot bags at up and comers with like the like my sponsorship beer and like whatever rainbow candy, and then they're like, I have a gift bag just like Dad, but they know they got treated well the first time, and they see if you see that's how you're supposed to be treated, that's how they're treating each other, and that's like they. So like, and I'm also like making like, you're the producer though, so you need to get paid, because some of them will be like, we can just walk away without being paid because we need to pay our acts. I'm like, the fact that you think that, because you'll go to a comedy bar and you'll do a sold out show and somebody will hand you $20, and you're one of 6 people on the show, and you're like, honey, really? Were they all Groupons? That's funny. A lot of Groupons. Right?
A lot of Groupons today.
And then you'll be in a coffee shop with 10 people and someone will hand you $30, and it's like, if you teach people fuck you pay me, they'll just keep it going, I guess. I don't know.
That's so cool. Because when I first moved to Toronto, I felt like I didn't like see any money at all, so I like had a show for a while, and it was like pay what you can, but basically I would tell everyone don't pay, and I would pay no one anything, and I wouldn't make any money, and I was like, someone would be like, can I pay it? I'm like, don't even worry about it. I'm like, what the hell? Like I
well, like in Winnipeg, a lot of the shows, like it was all open mics, and I'd be like, charge $5 at the door, like, and they'd be like, well, we want people to come. I'm like, people will come. And people are more. I don't charge less than $15 for my shows, because it should be like you should be going to with the talent that we have on our shows. Like with some of the lineups that we've all been on, it should be $100 ticket.
Oh yeah,
it's a great show, and people walk away and they're like, they had the night, like it's cheaper than going to the movies now to go out to stand up, and you get to actually have an experience and see like homegrown comedy.
It should never be $5.
No. And that's like, I've talked to Gary and Jen and Aaron at Comedy Bar about how we can elevate it, but there's newer comics that are like, we're not worth it, and it's like, you're worth it. You're taught that you're not, though, in comedy, where you're taught as a musician, you pay me this, and like a lot of like bars have cabaret licenses. They need you to be there, so they should be paying you. But people will be like, we get nachos and it's a really good deal, and everybody just like, it's just terrible. Like they get free nachos and they're so happy about it. It's like the bar should be giving you money. You know, like they just like, there's things that we can teach people so that we're all just, it would only benefit us to teach the things that we know.
I heard a story about a comic like a while ago, years ago, putting on a show in like a big theater. I forget which one, like Queen Elizabeth or something like that, like, you know, Royal Cinema. I don't know, like a big theater, you know, proper ticket prices of like $20 to $35 to $50 or whatever. And in the green room, the comics that were on the show were good, but they were like relatively new, I guess, maybe like a couple of years in or something like that. So they didn't really know what to expect, I guess. And in the green room, the producer sat them down and was like, okay, so this is going to be your first time getting paid on a show. And they're like, oh, sick. And he's like, he hands them each $1 and is like,
$1.
Yeah. He's like, remember this.
Oh my God.
Isn't that insane?
When was this?
This was like 5 years ago or something like that.
$1. That's so funny.
That's like when you tip someone a dime.
Burn. Like,
that's
honestly.
brutal.
Like, that person is like, wow. Was it Cruella de Vil? Like,
Yeah,
Cruella de
Ursula
Vil.
was like,
Oh my god, that is so twisted.
Yeah, but
imagine.
like the comics there, like they were new
they
enough.
framed their dollar bill. Yeah,
They did.
Yeah.
were
They
so
did.
excited.
One of them did 100% frame their dollar bill, and then it wasn't until later that they were like, "What the fuck? Like, this is fucked."
Like that producer made so much. Wow.
Yeah.
So we usually talk about dating rules.
Oh yeah, let's talk about
I'm
that.
just joking.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm just joking.
No, this is
But
the best.
Yeah, this is great. How long of what time are we at?
We're like half
25?
hour in.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
So chill. Yeah, like this isn't our show though, so come on.
No, it doesn't. This really doesn't matter.
What do you-
This podcast does not matter to me.
That's
Just
so
kidding.
rude.
I'm just kidding.
Sick
I'm
vibe.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love it.
Either way. YOLO once. So what do you usually talk about? Let's do that. Let's do the show.
So we normally bring in a dating rule. We start off by bringing a dating rule.
We can just skip to theirs.
Yeah. We kind of just want to hear yours.
I want to hear yours though.
Okay.
Okay.
I was burping over here.
Yeah.
If that looked weird, I was burping over there. I'm so sorry.
You're the first guest to actually interact with the cameras.
Yeah,
Because we also have 3 cameras here.
Is there 3 of them?
Yeah.
I've only
Oh,
been,
2. Never mind.
I've only been
2.
like I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty good cutaway king.
Yeah.
Oh. We're going to make GIFs of every single one of your cutaways.
Yeah.
That was me burping. So the dating rule that we thought of like 10, 20 years ago, we thought of this.
Do you have a new one every time?
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
so
10
difficult.
Yeah. 10, 20 years ago, you came up with
Yeah.
this one. What is it?
It's never sleep over.
Yeah. Get in, get out.
Get in.
Oh, this is dating. Okay,
This
I
is
was
dating.
like, wow, that's harsh. Like, what if you live together? Man, I'm not good at this dating thing. I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
Dating.
my wife is like, can you stay here? Where are you living?
And you're like, I have to go. I don't want it to be this
I don't
way.
want to ruin this, Sandra. The kids,
No,
where are you going at night?
No, even then, you can't sleep over.
No, that's stay by
You have
the
to
rules.
sleep in the car.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine I was like such a literal person and I was like, all right, thank you so much. And I just went and bought a car, don't have a license. Sorry, Natalie, I can't come over tonight. Oh, that was embarrassing. I just said that.
That's okay. I can edit
girl
that
I
out if you
like's
want.
name.
Do you want to take it out? I can bleep it.
No, I like you a lot.
Yay.
Yeah, I never sleep over. Yeah, for me, I feel like I ruin it a lot. I'm just like like for me, I'm very people will always. I'm a double Scorpio, so people.
Okay.
I don't know
What
the
is
third-
that?
Intense.
It means I'm intense. It means,
Oh.
and when I say I'm a Scorpio, people are like, oh, like the reaction is always like, don't murder me, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. I'm so sorry. I love you, but I don't, and I won't sleep over. I tend to like just like. Somebody told a really good joke about like if who was it that like if a man and a woman are in a relationship, the man is the brakes, and if it's 2 women, like a lesbian relationship, both of those women love love and women love romance, and like if it's 2 women driving the car, it's going as fast as it can, and that's the U-Haul thing. But
Yeah,
like I was
that's
assigned
funny.
female at birth, but I'm a very like sensitive person, so I am very much like. If I get smitten and then I'm like, I'm moving in. Like, it happens really fast and I ruin things, Like, well, I'll be like, like, I'll be really passionate and be like and then, like, we'll just sleep together. And then you stay over and then you wake up in the morning, you're like, what did I do? Are they ever, like, that is a good rule, not to sleep over. Like, I had a date last night and I was like, I don't want to ruin this because I really like you. So we're just going to kiss and stare at each other. And then we'll just take it slow because it is. If you, why wouldn't you sleep over? My rules are like
I'd
sensey.
sleep
I'm,
over. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like I say that, but I've maybe done that. Me sleeping over means not doing anything and just sleeping over, so it's not really a danger zone.
Yeah,
me.
I was like, you're adorable. What do you mean by
Yeah.
that? And you're like, I don't, whatever. I sleep over, but like, it's only if I have my jammies.
Yeah, literally, this is guys. Do you want
only
to
if I
take
have my
off
big
your
purse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm fine. Leave my socks and my jeans and my
Just
sweater
like-
on.
Can you tell the story of I don't want
With Zach?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first night that we slept like together, like slept over, we literally didn't like kiss, but we slept like nose to nose. neither of us like sleeping, just like awake nervously with our eyes closed, nose to nose for the whole night.
Who's that?
He's my boyfriend.
Do I know him?
He's in dog shirt.
Oh, I think yeah, I know him then. Yeah.
I love that story because I was also like on the floor next to them.
You're such a little orphan Ambien. Like,
yeah.
Like remember that story? And you're like, cause I was there too. Night. Just sleeping in a sock.
Oh
like
my
sleeping
God.
in the drawer beside them.
Yeah. Good times, really good.
That was such a good time.
But now it's great. I mean, it was always great. To be honest.
That's really adorable.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always sleep over, but I am a ruiner. So
A ruiner, yeah.
I'm like, let's just burn this to the ground.
Hey, where are the matches?
Yeah, get a really big pack of matches because I'm gonna be here for the next 7 days straight.
Yeah.
I guess I also I'm not very good at the rule, but at the same time I also haven't been on a date in like 80 years.
Yeah, so it's hard. It's
So
hard to remember.
I don't really know what I do.
What is this like?
I kiss them.
I used to have a rule. I actually used to have a rule where I was like sleep with them on the first meeting.
The first meeting, not even date. Meeting.
Yeah.
No, you just meet. And then
You're just like, you got like a crotchless thing, and you're just like, whoa.
You're like, hello.
What just happened? Oh, that's so creepy.
And part of the reason for that, when I initially had that rule, was because I was in a relationship for a really long time, and I was not attracted to the person, and then I had to break up with them after like 4 years.
That's, oh my God. So
That's
you
so
like
sad.
get it out of the way so you can tell if the attraction's there?
Yeah.
That is a good point though. And it does keep you, like, it's one of the insecurities that you have, so it's important to put it, for me, I'm like, don't have sex on the first date. I try not to because I'm like, I'm a ruiner and I rush into it and then we're like sleeping over for the next 7 days, you know?
Yeah.
But I've had people like not sleep over and it always like, it's very jarring for me because I do mostly exclusively date women or like, you know, not that I worry when they leave. I'm like, can I get you an Uber? And like, I want them to stay over because I want them to I don't want them to be going, like, not that women can protect themselves and I'm not trying to sound misogynist, but like, it just, like when somebody is like, I gotta go at 4 a.m, I'm like, can you not? Because like, I don't want to leave at 4 a.m. and I get that, like that it's like, I don't want to make you feel this way or whatever their intention is. Like, it's, I'm sure it's not like a, make it like, you know, but
I guess you're right. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, like whenever I've had women over, they always stay the night. I don't like to leave my room, so I generally invite people to my place.
Yeah.
So like they generally stay the night, but then when it's a guy, it's like, okay, I have to be up early.
Yeah. I don't know that, but like, I would do the same thing. I'd be like, get out. I do that with my roommates, but they live there and they're like, stop it.
Like, they're not leaving.
Yeah. But for me, it's just like, it's a safety thing that I
Yeah.
get it. Like, you can still play that, like, be like, oh, I didn't sleep over, but I'll text you in 3. Like, you know, like that game that's more, that hetero games that are like, whatever, like that we've been taught or whatever, but like I'm like, I just want you to stay the night. Like, you can sleep on the couch, but it's just a safety thing for me that I'm like, I wouldn't, it's just like I wouldn't want to leave in the middle of the night either.
I've
like,
never left somewhere after 2 a.m. I don't think. Once you're there, you're just there.
Yeah. I don't sleep well at other people's places. I like sleeping in my own bed, and I have a dog, and it's like I just like, and I also don't like, I don't sleep on, especially when it's new, because I'm like, I know I'll fall asleep and then I'll wake up farting, or I'll be like, or I'll wake up, and something will happen that is just going to be like, you're going to see that I am just a garbage bag full of cheeseburgers and not like whatever light, smoke, and mirrors that you're tricked by that you think that I'm amazing is going to disappear if I stay the night, you know? I gotta get some self-esteem real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 sec.
But where do we all need more self-esteem?
Yes.
And I want to give it to everyone I know, but how do we do that?
I don't know. It's so strange. Like, I went on this amazing date last night, and they were really shy too, and like they were just like, I can't believe you like me, and I was like, I can't believe you like me, but it was like, can't two really amazing, super attractive people be attracted? Like, I don't
what's
understand
the magic about it.
Yeah, or like when I see like how presumptuous and how like go-getting men are, even when they're
What was that word?
disgusting. You know when men will be like, I'd never fuck her. I'm like, she'd never touch you.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're so gross. But like to have that, like women are just like, And especially like now that I see it outside of it, like it's just like it's such a shame the way that we like raise women to just self-hate so much, and it would be like that you wouldn't think
so
you were
true.
worth it.
It's so painful, and it stops people from doing so much. Like,
remember that lyric in that song? You don't know you're beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's so gross.
It's
so gross. And that's also like,
I remember believing that in high school, being
yeah.
like, oh my god, yeah, I really do think I'm a ugly piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it's like, that's what makes you so perfect.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did we get taught that?
Yeah.
That it's okay to think that we're disgusting, and it's okay to be. It's so gross.
It's so sad.
And it's hard to like take it back. So because like it's almost feels like self-care and loving yourself feels a lot like faking it. Because
does.
It's just like I can think I'm amazing, but there's all these insecurities that I've been bred and like just hammered into me that are hard to shake. That I can just be body positive and be okay with the weight that I'm at, but then I remember everything that I've been taught that it's not how you're supposed to look, and it's not what women are supposed to do or what men are supposed to do, and it's like it's so gross. I was just about to like I almost like burped while I was saying that was so gross. But that's what makes you beautiful.
Harry Styles though.
What?
Harry Styles.
I don't know. I liked when Kristen Wiig dressed up as Harry Styles and didn't know who he was and had to be him on.
Really?
Like,
I've never seen that. That sounds good.
what's the show? Does she do that on the late night? The guy who used to do the Weekend Update.
Jerry David.
Yeah, that's it. Jerry David. Seth Meyers. She does like she'll be like they'll be like put a costume on her and like she'll like Michael Jordan's here and she'll be wearing like a bald cap and like a giant jersey and she's like doesn't know any facts about Michael Jordan and has to like make it up.
That's fun.
And, like put a wig on her and they're like Harry Styles so like sing one of your songs and she's like it's just really
That's
funny.
such
like
a good
really
bit.
funny bit. Yeah, what's sleepovers? I don't know what I did there. It got lost.
No worries.
Yeah.
We also asked you to bring a rule, a dating and or love rule.
Like, does it have to be like one that's like a trope, one that's like an old? Like for me, I guess like something that's really like kept me back in the past in relationships is like autonomy and like what we've been taught. Like as a person assigned female at birth, what I was taught as being born a woman and raised a woman is that like somebody owns me. And that like I owe someone something, and like that's what I try to keep in context because it is a misogynistic way to think, especially when you're in a same-sex relationship, that it's like this person owes me something, you should do better because you love me. It's like you don't owe anyone anything, and you should be in a relationship the way that you could take care of each other is by taking care of yourself. And I think that's autonomy is very important, and just understanding that the person that you love them because they're them, and you don't they literally owe you nothing. The best thing that they can do to be the best partner for yourself is to take care of themselves and make sure that they're okay so that you can be happy together. And like that's just something like try to let go of, so that it's like, because you do get caught up in it where you're like you're dating someone and then you're like, well, you weren't here and you know what, this person wouldn't do that, I would never do that to you. But it's like it's all circumstantial, and it's all like you have to give and take, and also like realize like you're not that person, that's actually what happened. So if you just to give each other a fucking break. Like I think we're just taught to like hate the people that we love, like it's just like to expect so much of them that we wouldn't even be able to give. It's just like not expect less for yourself, but just like be enough for yourself that you don't have to be disappointed by someone else.
Yeah, that's huge. And I definitely feel like I didn't used to feel that. Like I didn't used to like. I would also expect a lot from the other person.
Yeah, and
that
I was like, you
with.
literally own me. Like I love when you get jealous. That's cool.
Yeah,
you know, like, do that. Yeah, tell me what to like. I loved being hurt so much.
Yeah,
and I let myself be abused in a lot of relationships by just like needing that, because whatever relationships you have in the past where it's just like you're used to something. And then also mirroring and projecting that on other people that you love. And just being like wanting to be in control of them or being jealous for like, I don't know. It's just like letting go so that you can actually love somebody properly. Because even like with relationships, you have such a short time with a person. Even if it does last forever, it might last a day. Like it's just like try to love somebody properly, and loving someone properly is loving yourself. And then just projecting that instead of projecting all of your insecurities on them. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of why, like, I mean, I'm constantly on this show being like, why not just stay friends forever? And I think that does come from like a honest place of like, because I remember whenever I would be friends with someone and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, now let's date. It always get so 100,000 times worse all of a sudden. It was like, oh man, I loved it when we were friends.
Yeah.
Remember how much
like
fun
when
that
you
was?
get married and then people are like, how's the old ball and chain?
Oh,
it's
God.
like this thing that it changes everything, but it's just like because the pressure and like this idea that we have in mind for those things, that it's like this next level where it gets like darker and grittier and shittier.
Yeah.
Where it can be like you don't have to stay friends, they're just words, and this way like people get so like about commitment and be like, I don't want to call it like we're seeing each other, we're not dating. It's just like it's all projection. It's all projection of insecurities from people that have hurt us in the past or how we've hurt people in the past. And it's like let it go, you know. Or whatever.
That's a better song
than
the one we sang earlier.
better
That's also important and good. I'm trying so hard to like be better at that stuff. Like I can just feel like my own insecurities coming up so often in my relationship, but then I'll be like, I'll just try and tell him like, hey, this is what's going on. Can you stop this from happening? Like, because I know that this is wrong.
Yeah, but like also like you're looking for the validation of them to be like, that's not what's happening. But like for me, like whenever I'm like, they didn't text or they didn't like my Instagram story or they didn't watch it means they don't like me. But that's like, you're just not liking yourself. You don't need somebody to do that. And they're maybe busy. Maybe you should ask them how they're doing, if they're okay. Not just be like, because it's all just like this, you ball this up and it becomes this until you're just like, you don't love me. And it's like, you don't love yourself.
That's sad.
I've just been trying, like, I'm transitioning and I'm starting to medically transition soon. And it's, for me, dating is very complicated and sex is very complicated. So I've been trying not to date, but then it just happens where I'll be like, smitten with somebody. But for me, it's just trying to hold on to those things, like the rule. That's not even a rule. It's just like just trying to respect that I need a lot of space and that it's not always going to be uncomplicated for me to have sex. So it's like those things are okay, and it's okay for me to be like to have boundaries. And it's what I need is just as important as what the other person needs too. So I want to be able to be there for them. But if it won't work, then move on or find a way to make it work in a respectable adult way where we're both just like leading with love. I don't know. Oh God, I sound so gay all the time. Like,
no,
like my heart feels.
We love it.
Plus, like you keep going like this, and you have a mustache on your finger. You have a tattoo.
So I'm
so it's kind of like
Toronto Harry Styles.
You're like, sorry, I keep choking.
Oh no, what are you choking on?
I don't know. I'm just like choking on.
Sorry, I keep choking.
So
you're a very precious person. Like you're very. It's like you are so sweet. Like you're just like. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, she's the most precious.
Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No.
Like you're precious.
No, that's
very
okay.
Precious and smart and strong.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're both such strong, beautiful women. I'm glad that I was so glad to see that you teamed up because you make a really great pair.
Yeah,
you're both
it's
so
been
different,
awesome,
but so adorable in your own ways and so strong in your own ways that it's like a really cute pairing. Like cute, but like strong as fuck.
Yeah. Like a pink dumbbell.
Yeah.
5 pound pink.
That's a good cutaway.
For sure.
For this next segment, it's called Would You Date Them? And we're going to have you put on those headphones.
Yeah.
And we have a sound clip from a rom-com.
This is... mess up the sound or anything?
Who knows?
Who knows?
But this is the most classic rom-com ever. You've probably heard this. This is literally... I couldn't have thought of something less original to get a sound clip
Really
from.
phoned it in.
I have to pee so bad right now. Anyway.
So loud. Oh, is it really loud?
Okay, this is good here.
That's good? Okay.
Yeah.
It would be really bad if, like, you guys continue and I go
No, we'll
pee.
continue. Go pee.
I just don't want to get sick.
Yeah, I don't want you to get sick either.
Okay, but this is from The Notebook. Have fun.
So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard. And we're going to have to work at this every day, but I want to do that because I want you. I want all of you forever, you and me, every day. Will you do something for me? Please? You just picture your life for me. 30 years from now, 40 years from now, what's it look like? If it's with that guy, go. Go! I lost you once. I think I could do it again if I thought it's what you really wanted. But don't you take the easy way out.
What easy way? There is no easy way. No matter what I do, somebody gets hurt.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? God damn it. What do you want?
So you can take the headphones off.
Oh, I thought that she was going to say something else.
Oh, no, that was the end of the clip.
I was really lost in that.
Whew. So would you date them based off of that soundbite?
Him, right?
Him, yeah.
I would date that person.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would date that person. Because he loved her so. I've seen The Notebook like a lot, and he loved her so much. Like, there's like problematic things about it, right? About like whatever. But it was the important thing is like, what do you want? You're doing everything for everyone else, and it's not about. He said it. It's not about me. If you don't want me, go. Mm-hmm. He made the choice hers, and that's like really feminist to me. Then he was like, you can go, but like picture your future and what you want, and that's, I don't know, that's autonomy to me. So
yeah.
I didn't like the, like, it's going to be hard every day. Like, it does, but, like, love is hard, and you have to work at it, but, like...
It shouldn't be like, it's going to be really hard to be with me.
Yeah, it's going to be rough stuff.
First thing you need to know about me.
I'm difficult. I'm so hard to love.
It never lets up.
This is going to be a slow grudge through a mud pit.
Are you ready for
Picture
your
the
mud
never-ending story. You're
the horsey.
Yeah.
Oh no, poor horsey.
Yeah. He lives at the end. He doesn't die.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I would date them by that clip, I guess, because like, I just pictured like if like, not a guy was saying it.
Mm-hmm. The woman
like,
was like, "What do you want?"
Yeah, like choose what you want, and if I don't know. It is in relationships, like, it's always, like, you're always looking out for yourself, really, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that that's, like, a real, puts it on its head, that it's, like, actually, that he's, like, after all that time. I just also, like, really love him in The Notebook. Okay, this is, like, a really personal story, and I hope that my exes don't listen to any podcast that I'm on, because I talk about them all the time, but me and my ex, like, every time that we had sex, we used to notebook each other.
What? How?
You know when they, like, take off a piece of clothing and just stare at each other from
Oh
across
my
the room?
God.
That's how we would always start. Like, we'd be, like, making out, and then we would be, like, go to the opposite side of the bed, and then we would notebook each other, and then be, like...
That is so adorable.
Yeah, it was really cute.
I love that.
Oh my God. I've been kind of dreaming about that.
About notebooking?
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
that moment?
That's a lot for me to say on
Put
this.
it out. I don't think it's a lot for you to say. I think it's, like, if it's what you want, do what you want.
Yeah.
Stop
Listen to
thinking
Ryan.
about what everybody else wants. What do you want? I'm Ryan Gosling. You fucking notebook.
Yeah.
Every time you bone, you
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
It makes it really cool, and it makes like really awkward. But it's like
Yeah.
awkward is the best thing when you're like having
Yeah.
sex or when you're
Yeah.
like falling in love. Like
Yeah.
you can like sitting in those awkward moments is like what's so exciting.
Yeah, that's like the human experience.
Yeah, like it'll be like, I'm sorry I'm being so awkward. I'm sorry, but it feels so good. Like
Yeah.
it's just like when you're scared. Like it's like, why do you watch a horror movie? Because it's like you're feeling something at its most, you know.
Yeah.
And like awkward feels so good, and then you lose that awkward. But it's like, if you notebook, you can keep that awkward real fresh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love hack.
Yeah. Definitely.
Love hack right there.
Awesome. So you like the movie?
And,
I love the movie, yeah.
And they said that they would date them.
Okay, good.
I'm a big fan of
Yes.
Rachel
McAdams.
McAdams.
Yeah.
I was like Rachel McClatchy. Big fan of her too, though.
Yeah.
Have you seen Rachel McAdams in that lesbian movie where she's like she falls in love.
Like, and she's like a manipulative person or something.
No, it's like in this weird Mormon Jewish town.
No, I haven't seen that yet. I want to see it though. I kind of like stopped watching her movies because I realized that I lived in the same city as her, and I was so in love with her. I used to do these things where I was like, it was the Rachel McAdams weather report, whether or not I've seen Rachel McAdams or not today, because like I've been just obsessed with like seeing her on her bike, but like it's so weird how much I'm like she's so attractive, but like I don't know her, and if I saw her, I'd be like, oh! And like that's a person, that's a human female that I should respect and not be like you know. So I had to like reel it in and like not like I saw that movie, like I saw a preview for that movie, and I was like, I'd really like to watch that, and I was like, I shouldn't watch it then.
If I say it like that, I should not watch it.
Yeah.
I like the movie. We have to wrap up soon, but I like the movie, but it just like there's this moment where like the two women give in to their spoilers for sure. Give into like their lesbian urges, and they have sex, and it's like this kind of painfully long montage of like them having sex, but like there's this one moment where like one of them, and the reason why this bothers me is because it's like their first time having sex in a while, or like with each other, and also they haven't, in the context of the story, they haven't slept with other women outside of that, and so they're one of the cut tos is like one of them spitting directly into the other's mouth slowly, and I was like why is that?
That's crazy.
I was like, why is this part of like
If somebody ever did that to me, oh my goodness.
That's like
that's a hate crime. Like if I'm kissing someone and they're on top and like they drool in my mouth a bit, I'm like, it's done. Like I'll be like, ugh, because like I'm just like so OCD, and I'm like that.
Yeah.
Really. Thank you for spoiler alerting that, because I think that I would be like, well, I'm done for the month.
That is so weird for their first time.
Open up.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You dumpster. Like, what is that?
I mean, like, no judgment on kinks and stuff, but it's just like the choice.
No judgment on kinks at all. No, I wasn't doing that. I was just like, where did they learn that they were like, I guess like, I know I've been in relationships where I'm like, I want your skin to be my skin. Like I'm like, I just want like sit on my lap, and so like let's just like eat me.
Yeah.
Eat my. Yeah. I want to be your skin suit. You know.
That's so weird. Eh?
But okay, but like I just imagine the director being like, okay, let's just riff on this. You know? Let's just try this out. We might not use it.
And then he just like, but it's like a slow. Like she could have gone like
slow
and done like the Big Daddy thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She did a Big Daddy too. Visual Big Daddy.
Just play around with like, you know, what would you do with a woman? And she's like, oh
for sure this.
I'm so straight. What I feel like it's just like that that maybe like it's like just when you watch any movie in Hollywood that's like about the queer experience, it's written by a straight person.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I would do this to you. I'm like, would you? Is that how you think we have sex?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's pretty wow. Well, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was incredible.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
We really appreciate you talking about all this stuff with us.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry that I derailed the
we
show
like-
for
no.
40 minutes.
We love being off the tracks inside picking daisies.
Yeah.
I do too. I love wildflowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the show, we always do the best high five ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a very visual gag for a podcast.
Yeah.
It's a very visual gag for a podcast. I would expect nothing less from you. Okay. And how it just goes, it's a three-way? In the middle?
However it happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a
Okay,
good
I like
one.
caught that.
Yeah. It was like we were falling, our hands are falling, and then you caught both of us.
Yeah. Or like I was
Like
a
an
runner and you
eagle.
were both offering me water, and I was like, ladies.
Oh.
And I grabbed both of your water
I'm
in one hand.
Yeah. And we were like, they're only going to take one, and then both.
And I took both of them, and I looked back at you, and I was like, and it all went in my mouth.
Yeah. Incredible. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
And, sorry, I was going to say, and bye. But I didn't, and then I changed my mind about it.
And bye.
Sorry.
That was great. No.